This is my father, Edward the Eighth, and that's me in high school. This is Larry Flint, Hustler Magazine. I'm showing that because Mr. Flint endorsed me in a campaign in '83 where I ran against well, not against him, to replace him, U.S. Congressman Larry McDonald, a doctor I'd written about in a medical malpractice book, and his plane goes down August 31st of '83, and I was in the campaign. I'd written about mind control murders and people being programmed. Mr. Flint was one of those. The person that shot him and killed his attorney was programmed to do so and put to death went to prison and put to death. He was programmed, just like Timothy McVeigh, who said the Army put a chip up him. And it was Oklahoma City bombing. I could go on the Virginia Tech, Aurora, Colorado. I'm telling this to show the reason I put this up a lot. I found out my name in late '83, and this is a family where they brought me after they kidnapped me in '41. This is me. And the woman that had twins that she had murdered, they were born out of wedlock, Lina. So I was put there and told that I was Peggy, and I grew up being told to call her mother. She's a psychopath. And I grew up having to use that name, and I still do. I married a Childers. And the family's dressed up here. This was staged. They had no cars or these clothes or anything. It was a pigsty that I grew up in. This is my Aunt Georgia O'Keefe, sister to my mom Claudia, who married the King of England. It was a plot to take my father Edward the Eighth down, and my mom and he were married in '36 when he abdicated, was forced to. This is the double that married Wallace Simpson, one of them anyway. Now, this was my father here, abdicating speech. This is the double that married Wallace Simpson in '37 and became the illegal title of Duke and Duchess of Windsor. Now, whether he is kin to my father, he's part of the Windsor family, I don't know. He died in '72, buried at Frogmore, Windsor Castle. My dad and mom were still alive in October the 20th of '86 when I came to Roanoke. This is Carl's death certificate here. They even changed the dates of birth, which is illegal. It's on, I have to use Peggy's, and birth certificate. And actually, they were born a year earlier than the date they gave me. Okay, so I want to get to this. This is 1939, and George Elizabeth's father, that's her brood. Okay, her father, George, the illegal George VI, is here in '39 with Roosevelt, and Roosevelt's mother and wife, and this is George's wife, called the Queen Mom when she's not. By the way, she was kin to the Rockefellers that helped kidnap me. And Elizabeth is illegal monarch. They're war criminals and terrorists. And they've yet to be charged. I want to sit down now. I can hardly stand up. I'm going to try to switch this around and hope I don't look too bad here. I'll sit. I'm making this not just because I've been putting these up since I found out, well, for a while now over the years. I think I started in 12 April, Facebook. And I just a little later started putting up on YouTube, etc., about my father and mother and the kidnapping and all that, and taking down of my father. I want to mention here my Uncle George helped in my kidnapping in '41, and so did David Rockefeller. Well, the Rockefellers, okay. Rothschilds, Bilderbergers. Joe Kennedy was appointed ambassador to England by FDR, President Roosevelt. in 36. So watch the timeline. That's when they got rid of my father. And so his Joe Kennedy's sons, the older son Joe, and then JFK, flew into the Embassy of England and actually stayed there and spoke before Parliament, of all things, prior to my being kidnapped in 39, after 41 when I was kidnapped, and during. So they helped in my kidnapping, and thus the Warren Commission cover-up, because it would lead back to me, and etc., etc. Now, I don't know where to go from here. I've put it up a lot. I can't get an attorney. And I know that there are some people trying to help, a few. But I wanted so much the story told because it's such a horrible thing to do to my dad and mom, to me and my sons. It's been crimes that are so despicable and painful that when they say who the terrorist is, that it's another country. My God, this has been carried on. I'm 78 years old, okay, and they kidnapped me when I was 2. It's a horror story that has not been told. I've tried to tell a little. Now, where I'm going here is on Facebook, someone told me that there was a woman claiming to be the daughter of Edward VIII. Well, we got in contact, and then I saw the flaws in what she was telling. She finished college at in Fairfax, Virginia, I believe, although George Mason has 2 college, well, maybe more, but one out in Sacramento or out in that area. But she went to one of them, I think the one in Fairfax, Virginia, or out there where the CIA is. And that's who she may be, I don't know, because she does know a lot of background on UFOs and a lot of other stuff. And she's been invited to be on video. She knows a lot of people, really. And she even sued, and it went in 2010, I believe, went into, I believe, before Parliament, and she was trying to sue them for money that her father's the Duke of Windsor. Well, the Duke of Windsor is an imposter. He's not my father. And the crimes that he committed and did them deliberately were my father. People thought they were my father's crimes. And I do remember one thing about my dad. I might have been small, but when I found out about my kidnapping, and I could remember, I was 2 when they brought me over. I remember a lot. I remember a portrait in my christening. My dad was holding me in his arms in my christening gown. And, I remember a lot about it. But anyway, I wanted to get to, her name is Emily, Elizabeth Windsor Craig. So how she gets off using the Windsor name, I don't know. But she went into court and sued, and this is a double. I don't think she knew about me up until I got on Facebook, and then I told her. I said I read a couple or saw a couple of your videos where you made the statement that you were born in 44 and that your father's the Duke of Windsor. I said, that's a double. And I put all this up so she could see it. She finally admitted and said she was going to correct it because she writes books. I don't know how popular she is, but she does write books. And she's kind of flaunted me with a book that supposedly she's just put out. And it's about my dad, so she lied. She even called, it's kind of like right in my face, you know. She knows he's not her father, and she's even gone out and gotten a couple of others that claim to be, that my dad, King Edward VIII, is their father. So she's going to file another suit, she said. But anyway, that's not to the point. I want to say this because I'm rambling. First time I've done that. I'm tired and a lot's gone on. And I'm getting old, I suppose, is part of it too at this time. Anyway, I told her, and I want to read this because this is basically what I told her, but I didn't have the specific here. Because in her videos, she had one happening in Germany when her mom was a nurse in the army, so she said. And it was in Germany that she was supposed to have had this tryst or one night stand with the Duke of Windsor, which is a phony. Okay, so then the next one, this is the one I'm going to read because this was added to Google and then it's on down here. It was, okay, and I'm going to spell the name of the town in Arizona. I thought it was New Mexico at first. I thought she said that. Anyway, here's what was put in there. The Duke and Duchess were at Fort Harchuca, Arizona, at a Memorial Day weekend in 1943. Now, Emily Craig has always said that it was a Memorial Day weekend. So I wondered what they were celebrating that in Germany for, if that were true. But anyway, this is what happened. And by the way, I want to go ahead and say this now, too. A financial statement in 1943 includes the Duke and Duchess as having a ranch and land in Fort Huach, UCA, Arizona area. Okay, on eBay, there is press releases, press photos, and I believe they said a book that's been relisted. It was sold out and not in, but it's been relisted. There's been so many books of lies about my father. It is so appalling that it's happened and what's happened to me, and nobody will touch it. The press is owned by the Rockefellers and Rothschilds that kidnapped me anyway in the banking. But John Roosevelt, USN, I don't know what the N means, greeted the Duke and Duchess of Windsor, illegal. And here's what I want to say. He greeted them there. There was a woman with him in the photo. I don't know if that was his wife or not. But they greeted the Duke and Duchess there when they came to Fort, and I'll just skip the name of it, Arizona, in 1943, Memorial Day. So they were greeted, and I don't know what happened there, if they went out to dinner or what. But anyway, the point that I've made to Emily, and the point I've made is, and she knows that, she's admitted it, but now she's back on the other track that, well, it's not fair what's happened to her, and she's going to sue again, and the thing is, it keeps discrediting my father with a lie. She keeps going and saying her father's Edward VIII and actually using the Windsor name. And again, the night that her mother got pregnant, supposedly with the imposter, who he is, Duke of Windsor, that's not my dad, plain and simple. And it really hurts for her to, she has she critiques my videos and through the comments, and they'll be sent back by notification to Google Plus. She's gotten to me, and she's really at one point said she had a picture of my mom, which I don't have. And, I was begging her, and then at one point she just didn't say anything else about that. But anyway, she's up on one of the Real Monarch. It's a group, and nothing, I guess, against the group, because they probably don't know about me or, I would hope that people would try to correct history, because so much happened. But I think that's about all I wanted to say. She did go to court and sued and went before Parliament. And they asked her, they said, why, this is back in July the 10th of 2010. And they asked her, why did the Duke of Windsor, if that's her father, give her away and she up for adoption? And she said it was because that on his pension, he couldn't raise her right decently and he gave her up. And so she was adopted. And I guess that's all I have to say, other than I have looked back and I've seen all the lies told about my father, and I know what's been done to me, being kidnapped and brought over here, and I really can't tell the horrors that have been done to me. I didn't commit a crime. They were done to me and my family. And I think the fact that Elizabeth, people think this woman is a lady. I don't know what their idea of lady definition is of a lady. She's a thief. She's always known about me, what's been done to me. No secret. She has not made any effort to help and tell the truth. In fact, it's been the other way around. And her dad helped in my kidnapping. What kind of sorry sod is he that would help in lying, character assassination about my dad, married to my mom in 36 when he forced abdication, and then they got him, it was the double, marrying Wallace Simpson in 37. So I'm going to leave it at that because I'm rambling today a bit. And I also want to add this. I moved to Roanoke, and I found out a lot about Anastasia, who lived in Charlottesville, Virginia. And she was the real Anastasia, and I'm not going to go any further with that. I've put it up on YouTube and tried to put it up on the group, The Real Monarch, and Facebook.